Imagine Thesa, you open your eyes, expecting to reach for your phone, check your notifications, maybe scroll through social media before getting out of bed, but instead of a soft mattress and the buzzing of modern life, you're lying on a lumpy sack stuffed with straw that smells faintly of mildew, rodents, and last night's sweat, and the moment you sit up, you realize you're not in your cozy bedroom anymore. You've somehow woken up in medieval England, somewhere between the 11th and 15th century, and before panic sets in, your brain tries to process the strange reality. The air is thick with smoke from an open hearth, the floor is muddy and uneven, and instead of modern furniture, you see wooden stools, a table that looks like it's been hacked together with an axe, and maybe a chicken casually pecking at crumbs on the ground near your bare feet, which is the first reminder that shoes are a luxury, and guess what, you don't have any now. The first instinct might be to scream, "Where's the Wi-Fi?" But the people around you will just stare blankly because they don't even know what soap is, let alone TikTok, and you quickly realize survival here isn't about likes or followers, it's about not dying from disease, hunger, or accidentally offending someone who believes witches are real. And just like that, your medieval adventure begins. A first stop, hygiene. You might want to shower, but forget it, because in this era, bathing isn't a daily routine, it's a rare luxury, and even then, people believe too much water can make you sick, so congratulations, you're about to smell like everyone else, which is both gross and comforting. But don't even think about brushing your teeth because toothpaste hasn't been invented, so instead you'll chew on twigs or rinse with vinegar, if you're lucky. And speaking of luck, let's talk about food. Your stomach is growling, but the medieval breakfast isn't eggs and bacon, it's likely stale bread dipped in ale, because yes, even children drink ale. Not because they're trying to party, but because the water is often contaminated and drinking it can literally kill you. So bottoms up, you're starting your day tipsy now. Step outside and the village greets you with mud-soaked streets, thatched roof cottages, and the constant smell of manure, because pigs, goats, and cows aren't kept in farms. They're walking the streets, dropping gifts everywhere, which explains why you're going to ruin your only pair of socks in about 5 minutes. But hey, don't worry too much about laundry because washing clothes is a rare event, and stains are basically badges of honor now. As you wander, people start staring at you. Your clothes, or lack thereof, are strange, your haircut screams time traveler, and you're immediately suspicious to them, so if you don't act fast, someone might accuse you of sorcery, and in a medieval England, accusations stick harder than glue, meaning your chances of surviving the week depend on how well you can blend in. So let's get you a role in society. Are you noble, peasant, merchant, or maybe clergy? Well, bad news, unless you woke up in a castle, you're almost certainly a peasant, which means your life is about endless hard labor, bending your back in the fields from sunrise to sunset, growing crops that aren't even for you but for your feudal lord, because under the feudal system, the land belongs to the nobility, and you, dear time traveler, are just a tenant who owes rent in the form of sweat, grain, and taxes so high they make modern bills look like pocket change. Speaking of lords, let's say you're unlucky enough to run into Onia. Remember, Bolo, don't make eye contact for too long, and for the love of survival, don't say anything clever, because in a world where power is everything, even a smirk could get you whipped, jailed, or worse. But maybe you're clever enough to hide your confusion and just go with the flow, so you join the peasants in their daily grind, which includes plowing fields with oxen, gathering firewood, spinning wool, and if it's winter, trying not to freeze in your wooden hut with no insulation, no heating, and only animal skins to keep you warm, all while disease creeps in like an unwanted guest. Oh yes, disease, the silent killer of the Middle Ages, from smallpox to dysentery to the infamous Black Death, which wiped out nearly half of Europe in the 14th century, and let me tell you, there are no hospitals, no antibiotics, no vaccines. The best you can hope for is a barber surgeon who will cheerfully bleed you with leeches or amputate your arm with a rusty knife while telling you it's for your health. So if you thought a trip to the was scary, welcome to medieval medicine, where prayer and superstition outshine science. And if you survive that, maybe you'll visit the village market. This is the one place buzzing with life, where traders shout about fresh bread, salted fish, and fabrics, while jugglers perform tricks and pickpockets slip coins from your pouch, and maybe, just maybe, you'll hear a bard singing tales of King Arthur or Robin Hood, which sparks a thought: what about entertainment? Well, don't expect Netflix, but you might enjoy fairs, feasts, or mystery plays performed by locals, and if you're noble, hunting and jousting tournaments. But for peasants like you, fun means drinking cheap ale at the tavern, singing loudly, and hoping you don't end up in a brawl. But let's not sugarcoat it. Life is brutal, justice is harsh, punishments are public, and if you steal a loaf of bread because you're starving, you could lose your hand, be whipped until your back is raw, or locked in the stocks where people throw rotten food at you while laughing. And don't even get me started on accusations of witchcraft, because if the villagers suspect you of doing anything strange, like speaking in modern slang or knowing too much, they'll happily dunk you in the river to see if you float, because floating means you're guilty, and sinking means you're innocent, though, spoiler alert, you're dead either way. So how do you survive? Adapt fast, learn their language, mimic their manners, eat their food, and pray like everyone else, because religion rules everything here. The Catholic Church is not just a spiritual guide but also the most powerful institution, controlling education, morality, and politics, and priests are treated like celebrities, so you better attend Mass on Sundays and at least pretend to know your prayers, or else risk being labeled a heretic. And trust me, that label burns literally now. Maybe you're thinking, this is too much, I want to go back home, but before you despair, remember that while medieval England is tough, it's also fascinating. The castles towering in the distance, the knights riding in armor that glitters in the sun, the village festivals with music and dancing, the smell of roasted meat at feasts, the thrill of hearing stories by firelight when the night is pitch black and stars shine brighter than you've ever seen, because there's no electricity, no pollution, nothing but the raw, untamed world around you, and in that moment, you might feel strangely alive, stripped of modern distractions, forced to face life in its most primal form: work, eat, pray, survive, and maybe, just maybe, you'll start to admire the resilience of the people who lived through this era, people who built cathedrals that still stand, who tilled the soil with their bare hands, who endured wars, famines, and plagues yet carried on, laughing, loving, and leaving behind a history that echoes to this day. So the real question isn't just what if you woke up in medieval England, but rather, would you survive? And while most of us would probably fail spectacularly, lost without Wi-Fi, showers, or Starbucks, if you could tough it out, you'd gain a perspective on life no textbook could ever teach, that comfort is fragile, history is brutal, and survival is the ultimate viral challenge.